rattle can landed perfectly on a rock. Blew itself open. And it painted me. You see that? You see that right there? You know what that's saying? That weather stick's saying, harvest day! Our skyline sure changed here. The bins have been put up. Again, these two bins right there are pretty much twins. A little bit different than that bin. Bigger unload systems. They're stiffened bins. They're the same height. It's just the fact that the platforms are up higher. Oh geez, oh, the platforms, the foundations are up higher. When this first bin actually got built, they weren't paying too much attention to it apparently, because they didn't put the concrete up high enough. And look where our unload system is. It's actually in a hole. Luckily there's a tile in there draining it out, but that used to sit full of water. Not a good deal. So these were poured correctly. But man, don't new shiny bins look pretty? Oh, where the shih tzus? Oh, where the shih tzus? I need a tractor, which is all the way up front. So yes, welcome back to the good old Southern IA. Truth is, harvest has actually started for us. We've actually got about 80 acres of corn out already, of which I have been filming for you guys. But as we get going for harvest, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. We've gotten lucky. We've gotten lucky. We haven't had too many gremlins actually show up. There's been a couple, and I'll be catching you guys up on all that and the footage that I've gotten taken here lately as we get some work done here today. I know a lot of you are here to see this rig in action, and you will, and you will. But if you hear that fan running right now, that bin actually got filled up. We burned it, as in dried it. Now we're gonna haul it. That's what we're working on today, as I catch you guys up what's happened so far in harvest. First, I need a tractor. This fall, Molly and I are gonna do our best to bring out as many videos to you guys as possible. I really don't like putting these in my videos because you know, nobody wants to listen to it. But during this time of year, Molly and I put in a lot of effort to bring you guys as many videos as possible. She's got a full-time job. She also volunteers as a volleyball coach. I've obviously got a full-time job. Work a lot of hours during harvest, and then between one or two of us, we spend about 3-ish hours on each one of these YouTube videos. So all we ask is that if you guys really do enjoy the content, please just hit that thumbs up button for us. It really helps out the channel and it lets us know that you guys are liking or appreciating the content that we're bringing to you. Or if you don't like it, double tap the thumbs down button. On Instagram the other day, I posted a picture of the mythical 19 around. Right there it is. Count it. Singing 30-20 diesel. I mean, the fall mornings might get a little cold on you, but I don't see why that wouldn't work, right? It's 3,020 horsepower. You run about 100 of them at once. Andrew's loaded and taking off. My turn. So to help with loadouts and unloads here, use a lot of this marker paint. Mark along the edge of the semi to give you a target to back up at. And then I use these front stoops here. I'll put a B here for Barney. One guess why we call it Barney. Some of the young people might not even actually know that. That way you're not hopping in, hopping out, hopping in, hopping out, trying to figure out to get poppers lined up in between the bows while you're loading. But anyways, it's gonna take me a minute to get that semi loaded up. Why don't we hop into a little bit of field action, and then also Justin came back. So Justin came back today. He just couldn't stay away from down here. Probably got his deer stand picked out, where he's gonna go fishing. Had to come back.
I'm gonna go back and grab the boat, go away.
He's back down here today to help us get the scales calibrated on this, walk us through actually using it, and get us started on harvest. Okay, so what we've been working on here is getting the scales calibrated for this 1421 cart. It's really a pretty simple process. What I'm gonna have Justin do here is actually walk through with you guys how to calibrate these scales and actually the options that are available for this cart for scales. Right now, we talked about in the last video, we have the GT400 in here, which is the simpler of the scales, which was actually a request of mine to have the simpler scales in there, but we'll have Justin talk about it.
Easiest way to talk about the calibration is really taking your known weight and your scale weight. So we picked 3 loads of corn off the combine, put it on the cart, had the truck pull in, loaded the first one, took our weight that was said this is what we unloaded, went and scaled it in, take that difference. In this case it was 200 pounds. If you really wanted to, you could take that, then divide it into your calibration number, or take that two numbers divided and times that into your calibration number, so it keeps getting your calibration number tighter and tighter. In this case, since we were so close, we decided not to do that. Did the second load, it was still within that same margin, so it's still tight. But if you have you know, you're getting to see variances, I would say take your average of 3 loads, find out what that number is, and then use that as your multiplying factor to change your calibration number. But as he talked about, yes, we do have different levels. So the next one would be like our 560. It has all kinds of features from GPS all the way through the most common, which is auto log. So when you would turn on your auger, it will start taking any of that data. It'll start collecting the data that this is what we're offloading by field. So you put in a field number or field name and say, okay, I turn on the PTO, it's going to record that until you stop, logs it to that field until you start again. So basically from the time you start a field till the time you're done with that field, you really don't touch the scale. It does it all for you and then keeps that track as well. A lot of guys like that for crop insurance purposes, but a lot of them have them in their combines now too, so it's just a verification.
And looping back, so that to me would be the scale head that I would go with if I was the one to be in this tractor the entire time. But my dad might hop in there, my dad Andrew will hop in there, we'll jump back and forth, and without having a designated person in there all the time, the data is only as good as what you could collect. So I was just scared that, you know, hey, jump to another field, they don't change it, things would get messed up. So we kind of went with the keep it simple stupid solution, where you put this scale in head in there, get yourself a notebook. I'll have an iPad in there, I'll be able to keep an electric copy plus the written down copy. That's how we're going to keep track of it. Someone was really trained on the GT560. That sounds great. Also in the other video, we talked about this cart being here this fall and we get to use it. What we didn't talk about is that this is an early production model of the 1421. So what that means is that this is technically a CTU, which is a customer test unit, which is something Kinze does throughout the growing seasons with their entire lineup of products. So Justin, tell the viewers what a CTU is and what you guys aim to gain from using CTU units out in the field.
So we've got test units, and our CTU units, our engineering test units, or then our customer test units. So we want you guys to use it as every other user would, or an owner and operator, and give us feedback on it. So we look at it from an engineering standpoint and then a customer standpoint. So we want to get that feedback, like, hey, I like this change, but tweak this to it. Or, you know, it's really getting verification and feedback on the enhancements that we made, or any changes that we've made, meet customers' needs, meet their satisfaction points, or even gives us an area where we can make improvements at another level again before they come out and it's rolled into our production model. As he said earlier, it's an early next year's model, so we want to make sure we've got everything changed and wrapped, so when we run it down the production line next year, we don't have any doubts. There's nothing that needs to be tweaked, changed. It's polished, it's ready to go, all wrapped up in a bow.
Which that's really darn cool, because Kinze is taking the input from farmers, now YouTubing for me, but other real world customers that get these to see what they can do. If there's things that need to be improved, they take the feedback from us. So with that being said, we're going to actually listen to you guys as the viewers. Justin and I kind of were spitballing a few names for the grain cart here, which 50 years ago John pioneered the auger cart.
Yep, it's our 50th year anniversary.
50th year anniversary for this year. So we're gonna open it up to you guys to maybe give us some suggestions of what we should call this big beautiful machine.
Nickname.
Nickname. It's already named, but it's got to have a nickname.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back and loaded again. So Barney's loaded again. Andrew's on his way again. Dad's gonna take off with Barney and haul, but we're gonna do a load calibration, actually, what we just talked about on this cart coming out of the bin. You know your grain cart's big when you've got over half a semi-load and you haven't even had to move it yet. Impressive.
Ladies and gentlemen, is how you load a cart. Semi with a cart. Fast.
We'll do the math when Andrew gets back, but I'm going to start filling again because I'll load my dad the same way. We'll have 2 calibrations, see how close we are, I guess, on 2 loads. Better than 1, you know how it goes. Some unloading, or loading, I guess you could say. Unloading the bin, loading the cart again. Why don't we go back to the field? Because something showed up this year that we haven't ever seen before, and that was tar spot. Okay, so we started into the corn. This is some pretty good corn. But the thing about this corn here, it's running like 21% or something like that. For the first time this year, we got hit with tar spot. And this corn really got it. I don't know how much yield it took off because, like I said, this is doing pretty good, but man, without that tar spot, how good could it really be? We're happy. So the center sump just sumped out, and what that means is that it made its cone so it will no longer blow to the center part pit of that bin. So now the side sumps are open, and those side sumps are in line with the door, which will allow you to open the door. And if you can open the door, you can get in. And then when you get in, on this bin, there isn't a power sweep. So the sweep actually comes out. So we got to install a sweep. So as it's side sumping out right now, we're going to grab everything we need for the sweep so that when it does sump out, I can get the sweep put in there and keep unloading. If we can get this grain bin unloaded today, it means that we can fill it back up. Belt, post, broom. Last thing I need to get is this auger, and this isn't going to be fun to carry out by myself. Bandit, you want to lend me a paw? That's a haggy. The bin fan's still on, so the corn dust is dancing. Very little corn stuck to the sides again. So the cart's at 46,000 pounds, which is crazy because I didn't even have to move it to get that much weight on. But we're sumping out here. Hey, turn the fans off. It's blowing the bees wings straight at me. Thing's unloading about 1,100 pounds per minute, so I don't have to move it till we reach 46,000 pounds. 46,000 divided by 1,100, 41 minutes before I have to even get out and move that grain cart. To be safe, I need to make sure I get out of this bin here at about 2:45. Yay. Good news, it looks like the sweep auger might have just quit on me. I think it got hot, so I'm gonna let it cool down, let myself cool down as well. Let's see what our error looks like on the scales. Now, basically they're set from the factory because they know how much that cart should weigh, from what I understand. So it already has like a calibration number, so realistically it should be really darn close. Probably close enough that I'm not gonna mess with it. When we were in the field the first day, picking, it was the first load it came out, it was within 200 pounds. So it's really not something that I was gonna mess with when you've got 56,000 or better pounds on a semi and it's within 200 pounds. That's pretty decent, especially because I stopped unloading, so I didn't like empty the cart. So let's just see how close we are. Weighed 55,520 minus 55,240. We were within 280 pounds, so it's 0.5% air. 0.5% air on that load. Not messing with that. Then she's gonna drop down. Got the ticket to cool off that motor. Working hard or hardly working, Blue Dog? Nope. Go figure. Intermission. Actually sprinkling on me. Well, we're next to the pumpkin patch, so might as well look at the pumpkin patch. Definitely, like, all those are the ones that I planted later and just planted with the seeds. These were the starts. Look at the color of the starts. Look at the ones that I planted with just the seeds. A little recap of what we've gotten done so far with harvest. So far, we're right about 80 acres of corn harvested. We are ready to go back after it. The dryer bin is just about empty. I'll be trying to get that emptied out tomorrow. We ended up hauling in quite a bit of wet corn. Holy smokes, look at that pumpkin. Whoa, look at that guy. He's just, there's another one and another one. Look at that. Whoo, whoo. First impressions of the grain cart, it's actually helping us out quite a bit. But being in some good corn so far this year, I'm gonna attribute our production of how much we can get done during the day to actually that grain cart. Yes, we have a 1040 Kinze grain cart, but the thing is that this cart, with the little bit of extra capacity, in case Andrew's not back right on time with the semi, we can store another basically 450-ish bushels more than the 1040 grain cart. And then on top of that, with the really fast unload rate of 750 bushels a minute, I can get that cart emptied really quickly when Andrew does show up. So we've noticed that the combine just hasn't sat yet this year. Which everybody knows that as the combine sits, that's expensive and you're also not getting anything done. There's a white pumpkin. I think that's supposed to be a blue pumpkin. But other than that, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We've got a lot more harvest footage coming at you. First day, hard to get started on harvest. Hard to get back into the vlogging thing while you're trying to get everything going too. So, we'll work at it. But if you did enjoy it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on the way out. If you think of a cool nickname for the grain cart, put it in the comment section below. Maybe if whoever we choose, I'll send a hat or something like that. But other than that, we'll see you in the next one. duties as a cart operator is when you see those tall corns in the middle of the field, you make them not so tall.